everyone, and thank you all for being here this afternoon. I'm Julie Fahey. I'm the state representative from West Eugene and Junction City, and we are here today to officially launch the Oregon Future Caucus. Brought together with the support of the Millennial Action Project, our Future Caucus is a bipartisan, bicameral group of 8 legislators aged 42 and under. We are part of a national movement of younger state legislators who are committed to addressing the most pressing issues facing the next generation in a bipartisan way. Oregon is the 27th state to join the Millennial Action Project's Future Caucus network. And we are glad to be adding our voices to the growing number of state legislators who are pushing back against partisan gridlock and focusing on issues that are relevant to the younger generation. Political polarization is at an all-time high in our country, particularly in Washington, D.C., which means that young people are losing trust that their elected officials are looking out for them and addressing the challenges that they care about. I recently held a town hall specifically targeted towards young people in my community. I had the opportunity to hear directly from them about what issues they're most concerned with, including the lack of affordable housing, student debt, and the high cost of health care. These issues are critical to their quality of life. But the young people in attendance were also genuinely interested in how to get involved in shaping the policies that affect them and how to get involved in shaping the priorities of those who represent them. As their representatives in state government, we have a responsibility to focus on long-term solutions to our state's challenges, not just short-term fixes. We also have a responsibility to show young people that they have a reason to engage in their democracy, and that there are people serving in office who have similar priorities and similar lived experiences. If we want young people to vote, if we want them to get involved in their government, then they have to see that there are elected officials who are representing them and who are working on the issues that are important to them. As a group, we've had some really thoughtful conversations about the issues that are most important to Oregon's future and that are most relevant to Oregon's younger generation. And importantly, which of those issues do we think that we can arrive at bipartisan solutions for? Our top priorities as a group will be increasing the supply of housing in Oregon, supporting targeted investments in both early childhood education and CTE, addressing student loan debt, and reforming our criminal justice system. I'm incredibly excited to be a co-chair for this caucus and about the potential that this group standing up here with me could make real lasting change for generations to come. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to other co-chairs and then staff at the Millennial Action Project. Senator Hurd?
Boy, tough act to follow. Thank you, Representative Fahey. I'd like to throw some praise towards the good representative. She's really been the driving force here in the Capitol over the last 6 to 9 months as far as putting the Future Caucus together, and as one of our colleagues said, herding us cats, getting us all together here today. So I know the whole group is very thankful to you. So I'm really excited to be here. The Future Caucus, it's a great idea. As a millennial individual, I represent the Senate District 1 of Southwestern Oregon. And one of the fun things about this job is that oftentimes you meet old and young alike that are just surprised to see people, this youth, representing them in state government. And really it's something that inspires me to get up every day and keep pounding away at this job. I come from a community that, for the most part, is typically you see elected individuals that are 60 plus years old rise to county commissioner, state legislator of one chamber or the other. And so I found that it really serves as a tool of inspiration to the young people that are not only the leaders of tomorrow, but really if they realize their talents today, they can be the leaders of today. And that's really what this group, I feel like, is going to be focused on. We want to see young talent here across the entire state of Oregon really realize who they are and what they're capable of. I think young people today at times are really given a message that your time will come when you're 40, 50 plus years old. You know, if I've learned anything in my 33 years of life, is that although us as young people may not always know everything about the particular conversation we're engaging in the legislative process or in our communities, sometimes a fresh look, it's not quite as layered with experience and just all the different things that happen to us in life. And sometimes it's the thing you need to get the wheel rolling again. You need that fresh perspective to really see how the problems of today can have unique new solutions. And so with that, I want to pass it over to Representative Diego Hernandez. But like the good representative said, we're going to be focused on helping young people realize their potential with better financial literacy, improving our housing supply, and all the other issues that will be referenced here today. So, Diego.
Hello, everybody. I'm excited to be here as the youngest legislator. Thanks. And to be with such an amazing group of folks. I just want to start out by saying that what I really appreciate about us coming together is that it is bipartisan. It's from folks from both sides of the aisle come together. And for us to be able to talk about issues, not just that impact young people, but also our communities in a way that folks can, like we can understand each other based upon our experiences, our values, and even though sometimes we may disagree politically or ideologically, we know where each of us came from and where we're coming from, and that ultimately, it is our interest to serve the community we serve, but also to come up with solutions that are really going to improve the lives of all Oregonians. It's also exciting to talk about, the reality of what it means to be a young person in the legislature and the barriers that we face, whether it's, having to hold jobs once we go back home, right? Or multiple jobs in some cases, or having to take care of kids, right? Or raise kids. I was talking to some of my colleagues it's easy to point out when you have a small group of people like us. There's only 8 of us out of 90. Like, it's not a lot of us. It's easy to point out that there's not that many young people in the Oregon legislature, and there's a reason for that, and a lot of it has to do with access. And so hopefully we can have that conversation, dialogue as well as a group moving forward. But I'm not sure if who's going to talk next. Oh, okay, great. I got my colleague here. Thank you, Senator Brock.
Well, good afternoon. And to start off as the oldest member of the Future Caucus, we got you in. All right. The youngest, in my nearly 20 years of public service, I've always been the youngest, and now I'm finally within a group or a caucus that I'm the oldest. But I really appreciate all of these individuals. We all can bring different perspectives to the legislature with our varying demographics. That's what's been said. But there is a disconnect, as Senator Hurd has talked about, where younger people feel disenfranchised with their state government and their county and local government, because there are a bunch of folks that, I'm trying to say this without offending our older legislative fellows, but there are difficulties in performing public service when you're raising a family, when you're holding down a job, and a lot of us are fortunate enough to be able to have found a way to get through that, but it isn't easy. And I think that within our various ideology, we can bring perspectives not just from our communities and our generation from our communities, but also from around the state and the regions to solve problems that really can positively affect a broad scope of citizens in the state. So really appreciate the opportunity to be here and be a part of this, and special thanks to, again, Representative Fahey for the heavy lift, because she's been doing a lot of work to get this done. So thank you. Stephen?